Thor, god of thunder, the king of Asgard, the mightiest avenger. He has been on a journey of self-discovery, trying to figure out what would make a good king to his people. His journey started with him becoming the Herald of Galactus, and then he discovered that there was something wrong with Mjolnir. Anybody could pick it up. While looking for answers for that, he discovered that his alter ego Donald Blake had been locked away in a repeating dimension and forgotten about. He somehow gained sentience and freed himself, trying to murder all of Thor's friends. Which brings us back to the hammer thing. Why can anyone pick up the hammer? Well, maybe the god of hammers knows. You have found yourself on that side of YouTube, where the stories are told to you in a dramatic fashion, where I get to pretend to be a voice actor. This is Comicstorian, and we take the time to make you a comic book expert by filling you in on the big moments happening within the world of comics. We do cut the B-plots out, we limit our panel usage to prevent copyright problems, and we allow you to have something to read to yourself and view yourself if you want to start your collection. I do recommend going to your local comic book store, or starting a digital collection, or using one of our sponsors, the app known as Shortboxed, where you can learn about CGC-graded comic books and how to get them at the best value. Now today we're going to be covering Thor issues 19 to 23, and I hope you enjoy and let me know what you like about this portrayal of Thor in the comments down below, because this portrayal is not the movie version at all. In the beginning, there were the Titans, the Elder Gods, the Ancient Giants, the Black Winter, the God Tempest, the King in Black, the Phoenix, the Light and the Dark, the Blood, the Fire. And oh, how they raged, battering one another with entire worlds. And born from that forge of that rage, annihilation. But then, as it always has, the grand cosmic wheel turned again. And as the seeds of that titanic rage, a billion years gone, it began ever so slowly to blossom. The cycle continues, the fire, the gods, the rage, the annihilation, and then born from entropy, eternity. However, on the eve of the War of the Realms, the mighty Thor, Jane Foster, faced down the unstoppable Mangog. She threw the dark beast into the sun, where Mjolnir the Smasher was destroyed. As the story goes, once again from the fury of Titans, fire reigned, the hammer fell, and born from that fire once more, rage. However, the hammer was stolen, taken by an unknown force that even the all-seeing Sif could not recognize. Thor wishes to go locate his hammer. Sif tells her king that his focus would be more directed at being a king rather than Asgard's warrior. That is why Beta Ray Bill is his master of war. But then Thor tells her of a story that only Allfathers would know. There is a book, a great tomb of kings. Its page is hidden from all but the rightful king of Asgard. It spoke of his father and his grandfather before him, of the titans that formed this realm and all the rest, as well as a prophecy. Thor has read it over for days. He has not ate, he has not slept because of it, and it speaks of a great storm, the likes of which they've never seen. Brought forth by Mjolnir, wielded by a being known as the God of Hammers. The book says that this being will kill the Golden King of Asgard, and that his soul will be trapped in the fire forevermore. Now, she will bring him where he wants to go, or should he relieve her of her sword? Across the galaxy, in the far reaches of the unknown, is an arena that is home to some of the most vile and vicious barbaric fighters, a place known as the Gauntlet. Fighting in that arena at this very moment is Odin himself. This is the place that even an Allfather could meet his fate, if not for his son coming to stop the blade that would claim his head. After throwing the combatant that was about to behead his father, Thor asks should he even bother. Odin yells that it was his damned sister. She left him here. After saving his father again, he simply asks Odin if he will help him clean up this mess. So they gain some equipment and they travel to the birthplace of the Smasher, Nittelvia, home of the dwarves that forged Mjolnir. Thor questions why they are here, as they have no need for a new weapon. But Odin explains that the dwarves can track their creations across the stars. But as they begin to try and go through this forge, as they look for answers, they discover the dwarves have been massacred, which leaves the question, who? Who could have done this? Who could have killed the dwarves and killed their only lead? It would appear that they've all been crushed. and it's Thor who tells his father what he sees. He believes that they were killed by a hammer, by Mjolnir. Thor and Odin pay their respects by burying the dead, and Thor kneels as the last body descends into the grave, promising that they will be avenged. But Odin tells him that that is not enough. A king cannot rule from his knees. Thor rises in anger, telling his father that this king shall do whatever he pleases, and as a loyal subject of Asgard, you will do well as to bite your tongue when addressing your king. Odin looks right at him. Or what? You'll go back and cry to your mother again? The fury of thunder is let out as Odin is punched across the field, and Thor asks if he finds this funny. An entire realm has been reduced to a graveyard, and you decide to make sport of it? Of me? Odin informs him, you've had a free pass for far too long. But rest assured, the next quarrel you start. Thor shouts at him, all of this is your fault! Do you not see it, father? Donald Blake going insane, a broken enchantment on the hammer that you created, and has seen how many die, and this, Mjolnir's worthiness magic's gone. Magics that you placed, which has let some god of hammers steal the hammer. And by the elder gods, look around. Everything that you touch, everything that you have made, is coming apart. Believe me, son, I can see that. But before the two could argue even further, they are suddenly teleported to the frozen wastelands of Jotunheim. Before Thor and Odin could even question, it is Loki who steps forward. I'm terribly sorry to interrupt another scintillating father-son pep talk, but, well, I don't suppose either of you has misplaced anything lately that would crush a large number of frost giants? Loki recites Thor's words from his coronation. Let there be peace, or let there be thunder. Where is your peace now? Where is your thunder? Where is Mjolnir? But even as they speak, the forces of the 10 realms are taking up arms against Thor, as they believe that this assault, no matter the assailant, is Asgard's doing. Thor's doing, to be exact. So far, I've been able to keep them from letting loose, but I won't be able to for much longer. I may not know what is happening between the two of you, but if I may, get over it. Because no matter what you claim or what you believe, this prophecy, this myth, it is real. Loki goes on telling them that he tried to obtain what records he could of this god, but sadly, whatever legends that there seem to have been were destroyed, and destroyed recently. But everything he found tells the same story. The god of hammers will rise, he will ignite the 10 realms, and he will take the last king of Asgard. Then there will be nothing but the distant sound of a burning, raging, as the god of hammers reshapes the world. We have done this dance before. I am not shaken by. But Loki stops his father. No, you misunderstand. The text is literal. We will not go to war. We will burn. Odin then looks at Thor and tells him that this is something that he must tell him. But before he could, there is a flash of prismatic colors, and Sif, along with Throg, tell Thor that he must come now. Seconds later, Thor is brought to a realm asking where is he? Where was he sent? And as he wipes his eyes, he falls to his knees. He looks at the ruin and the wreckage, reading the sign. Welcome to Broxton. And he says, not here, not Midgard. As he stands, filled with the rage of an all-father, and he calls out, nay, demands that Mjolnir heed his call. And it does, but not to his aid. The hammer crashes into Thor with enough force to raise an entire city. He crawls to his knees. I don't understand. How is this? And soon the hammer strikes the All-Father over and over. Bloodied and nearly broken, Thor stands shouting to the attacker, show yourself! Stop hiding behind the hammer and speak your name! The voice tells Thor that he has always known his name. I am the god of hammers. I am Mjolnir. The hammer flies again, finding its mark in the middle of Thor's chest, launching him across the destroyed town. He falls into a lake, and the hammer rests right there, pushing him further and further down until he is finally submerged underwater, and then a bolt of lightning strikes, burning the lake dry. The spirit of Mjolnir congratulates him on his quick thinking, but Thor shouts, trying to move the hammer, who are you? The spirit makes its way down. Those are harsh words. We have been together for so long. Well, of course, there was that brief time that I was with Jane. Hopefully you weren't too jealous of that, Thor. Soon the hammer is called back, and the spirit asks, "Do you know what this all comes down to? Speeches, titles, crowns, thrones, parliaments, and senates, blah, 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 blah. I have grown so bored of it all." Thor holds out his hand, commanding forth his sword. The feeling is mutual. He leaps forward swinging, but the spirit whimsically dodges each attack. You never learn. Thor, god of thunder, should really have known better than to think that anyone can outrun the lightning. Thor lunges again, this time with his fist, but the spirit lifts up Mjolnir, and Thor punches the hammer, completely shattering his arm. Thor stumbles back, looking at his broken bones. "This cannot be, I cannot be!" And the spirit asks, "Broken? We know exactly how you feel. Yes, Thor can be broken. You just have to learn how." The hammer is raised, and as it comes down, there is a clang as Odin thrusts his spear in the way, protecting his son. Odin struggles to keep the mallet at bay, asking, "Are you ready for this?" The spirit tells him, "You have come to die for your son. How noble. But I'm afraid I decide when this ends." Odin pushes Mjolnir back, telling him, "I wasn't talking to you." And suddenly the Bifrost shoots down, grabbing Mjolnir and teleporting it to the edges of space. With their moment of reprieve, Odin helps Thor up. Thor asks, "What is happening? It said the god of hammers. It said that it was Mjolnir brought to life." Odin tells him that Mjolnir has always been alive. He trapped the Mother Storm in it eons ago, and when the dwarves forged that cursed rock into the hammer, they told him those died making it, that their voices and souls live on inside of it. Whatever this is, whatever has taken a hold of the damned mallet, it is here. Mjolnir rockets back to Midgard, aimed right at Thor, but Odin pushes him out of the way, and the hammer strikes Odin in his back, breaking the spine of the former Allfather. Thor scrambles to help his father up, and then he asks, "Are you still there?" Odin weakly says, "His legs," and the spirit asks, "Does it hurt?" "It does, doesn't it, to lose, to be left alone?" And Thor shouts, "Why are you doing this?" "You took me for granted, you always have. But you, none of you, understood me. You thought the enchantment meant the wielder would be a worthy warrior, to be noble or true of heart, but really, are you any of those, Thor? No, I am a hammer. To be worthy of me is to break, to smash, to destroy. Jane threw me into the sun. You left me broken. You left me to burn. But you see, we weren't alone in the sun. There was something else there, something powerful. And we burned together. Its spirit became entangled with us, its soul inside. Then they awoke with a voice, with the rage of a billion beings. It awoke. The rage of Mangog! Thor stands back up, snapping his arm back in place, wrapping it with his tattered cape. You have been possessed by Mangog? Well, you've come to the right place. I can help you. I'll beat the demon out of you! Mjolnir's spirit sighs. No, not possessed. Joined, intertwined. We are awake. We were given a choice. Mangog's spirit then punches into the ground, creating a great divide, and as Odin's body begins to sink into that hole, Thor grabs him, calling out to Sif. With no answer yet, Thor prepares himself for another attack, but suddenly Mangog's spirit explodes. Beta Ray Bill, along with many of Earth's heroes, rush in to help Thor, but he tells them, no, you must run. Mjolnir's spirit flies up. Oh look, friends, and it rockets down at Beta Ray Bill, knocking everyone down in its path. It flies back up. Nails! I see nails to be hammered! And while the heroes try fruitlessly to stop and slow the Mangog spirit, Thor crawls to his knees, pleading for help. Only the strength of his mother can help him now. Please grant him the power so that he may protect those in need, so that he may save his father, so that he may. And suddenly, there's a spark. Thor looks back. Ah, there you are. Thank you, Mother. The winds over the battlefield begin to swirl, creating a cyclone, one that throws all of the heroes out but keeps Mjolnir inside. Mjolnir's spirit flies up, telling him, look at you, putting others before yourself. I'm so very proud of the man that you have become. Why then? Why do this? Why have you killed so many in my name? We used to bleed across the stars. We were beautiful. The Mother Storm, shapeless, incandescent lights broke and scattered across our body. We were alive, we were to be feared, luminous and dreadful, and free. Your father trapped us eons ago, used us, enchanted us, treated us like a toy, but Mangog opened up my eyes. He's another of your father's sins, you know. So we began to unravel them, all of Odin's little toys. We began to break them, to set them free. And while he slept the sleep of kings, we crept into his little playground and shattered its walls, letting the dragon in. We let the devil in. And Thor tells them, no, you have not met any devils, but you will. Using the power of the cyclone, Thor rips apart the earth, encasing the hammer in a giant rock pillar, halting it from doing anything. As the spirit of the hammers tries to break free, Odin calls Thor over. You must listen. I am sorry. Mjolnir is right. All these things that I have made, they are coming undone. All of them except for you, my son. You are the greatest thing that I ever made. But you have been selfish. When you took the throne, you had so much you wanted to do. You wanted your mother to see you again. You wanted to be strong. So you held back. Thor asks, what are you saying? I don't understand. As his hands begin to glow, Odin holds it up, telling him, the Odin Force, boy. It cannot be given in full until I am gone. But as the power begins to flow into Thor, he screams, do not do this! And Thor tells him, it is all that I have. All that I am. The hammering stops as the spirit breaks free, and Thor calls out to the spirit, telling it, you have killed in my name, brought misery to my home. You have taken my father. Thor stands up clad in the golden armor of the Odin Force, telling the spirit, but it is time that I put the hammer down. The spirit begins to laugh. Seems we touched a nerve. You always were a bit of a daddy's boy. Ever since the old man was, but Thor isn't listening, charging and swinging his sword of light. His name was Odin! The sword shatters, taking some of Mangog with it, and Thor calls to Sif, I need another weapon. Go to the armory, and she tells him that he is using too much of the Odin Force, that if he doesn't stop, he will fall into the All-Sleep, and she cannot protect him once, but Thor tells her, then I will relieve you of your sword now. Sif tells him very well, and as the Bifrost slams into the earth, Thor reaches up, taking a hold of Sif's sword, Hofund, and tells Sif, I will return it once I'm done. As the Bifrost begins to wrap around the two spirits, the spirit of Mjolnir yells, you can't do this! You can't cage lightning! Can I? You are powerful, yes, but you are lightning that walks, a great and dreadful storm, but a storm nonetheless, and I am still your god! He walks up, taking Mjolnir from the spirit's hand, and the spirit screams, you can't do this! You think you've won. You will fall like your father before you. We cannot be separated from the hammer. We are Mjolnir. Thor tells him, I can feel it in the balance. You're scared, trembling, trapped. Good. Soon the Bifrost shines and Thor drops the hammer as the spirit asks, where have you taken us? What is this? And he tells them that he brought them to Nidavellir, to their forge where they were born, and this is where you're going to die. As the fires of the forge rage, Thor asks if they can feel it. The heat of a billion suns, unraveling everything that they are, boiling the enchantments that his father gave them, burning up the magic that gave them wings. I will unmake you. The spirit grabs the hammer swinging, but Thor catches it. You cannot hurt me. And he takes the hammer. He lifts it high over his head, slamming it down again and again and again and again, until the very Uru-forged hammer becomes undone, leaving nothing but a hilt and an unconscious god. Fire, rage, eternity, entropy, annihilation. Thor slipped into the All-Sleep for 4 months. His mother is sitting there, Freya, and he demands to know where he is. Angela tells him that there wasn't a body to bury, so they're going to hold the ceremony for his father. There's no rush. Thor glares at her, still recovering. Freya helps Thor get dressed, and then Thor shouts, I don't need anything, I can dress myself. With that, they leave him, with Angela informing him to meet her at the armory. Thor opens up the large double doors, seeing a mended Mjolnir sitting on the pedestal. How? And why would you? Thor tells him that she said she would clean up his mess if she had to, consider it clean. But he should know, it's just a hammer, I can feel it. There is no magic in it any longer, no power. Angela looks at him. I think that depends on who wields it, doesn't it? As she leaves, Thor reaches for the hammer, and then he stops, holding his hands together and kneeling. Father, I know. Somewhere you can hear my prayer. I'm so lost, I can't see the path. But then he hears Odin's voice coming from the hammer, telling him, keep your eyes open, boy. A king can't rule from his knees. And that concludes the God of Hammers arc and what is going on with Mjolnir. Honestly, I thought this was amazing. Full Odin Force power, no more magic from the hammer. It's just an incredible storyline, and I really love what Donny Cates is doing with Thor. But make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because within the next couple of days, we're going to bring you the next chapter of Thor and the next chapter of Hulk. You see, what happens next is known as Banner of War. Hulk, who's out of control in that spaceship form, and Thor, who now is the Odin Force, battling it out. You want to see that? Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And don't forget, let me know in the comments down below if you like this version of Thor more than the movie. The movie is great, but honestly, I like this version of Thor more. Don't forget to check out our Patreon for early access or our YouTube memberships where you can get early access. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.